Thank you all for being here today. My name is Miriam Shura, Executive Director of the Arab American Civil Rights League. We are here today because of a deeply troubling incident at East Middle School, part of Plymouth Canton Community School District. On January 10, 2025, an 8th grade student, Danielle Khalaf, an Arab American young woman, was publicly humiliated in her classroom simply for exercising her constitutional right to remain seated during the Pledge of Allegiance. Instead of fostering an environment of respect and understanding, her teacher singled her out, dismissing her right to free expression, and made an offensive, racially charged remark, saying, "Since you live in this country and enjoy its freedom, if you don't like it, you should go back to your country." Let me be clear. No student should ever feel unsafe or disrespected in their learning environment. Schools should be places of inclusion, acceptance, and open dialogue. Instead, Danielle was made to feel isolated, powerless, and emotionally distressed. To make matters worse, no restorative practices have been implemented to support Danielle's emotional well-being. No school staff reached out to offer counseling or guidance, nor was she given any resources to help her cope with the trauma that she endured. How is Danielle supposed to trust in a system that failed to protect her? How do you think she feels when she's being told to go back to her country and she's a United States citizen? What happened to Danielle is a direct violation of her First Amendment rights and highlights a deeper issue of discrimination within our schools. Teachers hold an immense responsibility to educate, uplift, and foster environments where students feel safe to express themselves. No teacher should ever use their position of power to make a student feel unwelcomed, unheard, or less than. Danielle is a model student, having been chosen as a student of the month twice and maintaining a 4.0 GPA, yet no apology has been issued. The Arab American Civil Rights League, alongside Danielle and her family, is demanding immediate action, a full and transparent investigation into this incident to ensure accountability, appropriate disciplinary action against the teacher who made these offensive and harmful remarks, a public acknowledgement and apology from the school district for failing to protect Danielle and mishandling the response to this incident. Mandatory diversity, equity, and inclusion training for all school staff to prevent future incidents of discrimination and ensure all students are treated with respect. A commitment from Plymouth Canton Community Schools to uphold a safe and inclusive learning environment for every student, regardless of their background or belief. Furthermore, we applaud Danielle and her family for her courage in filing a formal complaint with the Michigan Department of Civil Rights. Their bravery in speaking up is a testament to their strength, and we will stand with them every step of the way until justice is served. The case is more than just about one student. It's about protecting the rights of all students. It's about ensuring that no student in any school ever faces discrimination or intimidation for expressing themselves and their beliefs. It is about sending a clear message that hate and intolerance will not be tolerated in our educational institutions. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the chairman and founder of the Arab American Civil Rights League, Nabi Hayad.
Thank you. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you all for being here. I say over and over again, I appreciate the work that you all do in the media and to give the voice to the voiceless in the community. And Danielle is one of those individuals today for this press conference. That being said, we're truly disappointed in the Plymouth Canton School District, in all sincerity. The Plymouth Canton School District prides itself on saying that they believe in diversity. They have cultural days. They have different days that they bring in from whatever cultural background that you're from. They say one thing, they talk the talk, but they're not walking the walk. And this is very disappointing, because yet when a teacher, such as this teacher in East Middle School, does what she did what she did, and for the school district not to take any action, not even investigate, not even discipline, not even have any kind of training for this particular teacher, is truly deplorable. The fact that this particular teacher had to single out this individual for not standing up for the Pledge of Allegiance, which, by the way, is her constitutional right, her First Amendment constitutional, fundamental right, we say. Our most fundamental rights, our constitutional rights, the First Amendment. She should have known this. That is the law across the country. That is the law of the Supreme of our Constitution. That is the law in the state of Michigan. A student does not need to participate in taking the Pledge of Allegiance. She does not need to participate in standing up for the Pledge of Allegiance. That is her right. That is her God-given right. That is our constitutional right. That is our state law right, state constitutional right, as well as our common law right. That being said, for Danielle to take the position that she did, and I want to clearly tell you about why she didn't do this. Now, Danielle is an amazing student. She's been awarded Student of the Month twice, which her dad could talk about what that means. She's an amazing student. She decided peacefully, quietly, to sit down and just not participate in the Pledge of Allegiance. Why? Well, there was a genocide happening in her hometown across the land, and she felt our government was being complicit in what's going on overseas. And she could not sit there and stand and watch while kids were being burnt alive and 2,000 pounds were being dropped on her basically neighbors, because she is of Palestinian descent. And for her to take an action and say, I'm an American, and I believe in this country, and I believe in the First Amendment, and I'm going to exercise my right under the First Amendment, under the Constitution, to speak up and demonstrate against what's happening overseas. And we must appreciate how courageous this was by the 8th grader in this school district. For her to stand up and say, and no one told her this, and you can speak to her dad or her mom, that no one told her to do this. She individually did this. She had a conscience. She has a will, she had ethics, principles, and said, this is fundamentally wrong. Why is my government doing this? While people are being slaughtered, her community, villages that are being devastated and being slaughtered, she decided to take a stand. This is nothing new, ladies and gentlemen, in our government, in our Constitution. That's what makes this country so great. That you have the right to protest, that you have the right to stand up, you have the right to sit down. Rosa Parks sat down. Danielle sat down, and she said, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to stand up where there's I'm not going to sit there and stand up for injustice. And she has the right to do that, and our laws protect her against that. The family has filed a complaint with the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, and we're asking the Michigan Department of Civil Rights to investigate very thoroughly, because the Plymouth Canton School District failed to do so. And that's what our laws are based about. Our Constitution in the state of Michigan says that the Michigan Department of Civil Rights is to investigate. They will do that. But we're asking the Plymouth Canton School District to do your job. Investigate what one of your teachers have done. And it's not just a run-of-the-mill, oh, she didn't do nothing much. This is fundamental. This will affect this individual, this child, for the rest of her life. And what action the school district does moving forward will impact her and send a very strong message not only to her but to the community and all diverse communities under the Plymouth Canton School. And I know the Plymouth Canton School District is a very diverse district. My children went there. I know how diverse they are. We're asking for them to do the right thing, for the school board to take action immediately, conduct an investigation, do a thorough investigation, make sure that this teacher is dealt with accordingly. For her to take her position and her stand against an 8th grader is fundamentally wrong. Fundamentally wrong. This is a child we're talking about. And for her to take her personal beliefs, her growth, her background, and sit and try to instill them on an 8th grader is fundamentally wrong. I don't think any of you here in this room would be okay with that. Regardless of what your position, what your political opinion is, what your background is, it's just fundamentally wrong. There should be no place for politics in our education system. And for this teacher to take such a stand is so fundamentally wrong, she needs to be dealt with. She needs to be either disciplined or she needs to be discharged, because she sure does not understand what her duties are. She's there to teach and the curriculum. She's not there to give her political opinion or her stand on certain things. Until her family or her village or her community is being alienated, she cannot sit there and make those type of decisions. So again, we're calling on the school district to take action immediately, either discipline this particular teacher, and if you have not taken the training that the school has not provided the training for the teachers, they should under these set of circumstances. I'm going to turn it over to the dad now, and thereafter Danielle's going to say a few words after that. Please.
So my name is Jacob Califf, and I am Danielle's father. I'm here not just as a parent, but an advocate for my daughter and for every student that deserves a safe and respectful learning environment. As a father, it was heartbreaking to see my daughter come home in tears because of what she had to deal with in school. Danielle was exercising her constitutional right when she chose to remain seated during the Pledge of Allegiance. Instead of respecting her decision, the teacher humiliated her in front of her classmates and peers and made a deeply offensive comment, essentially telling my daughter that she does not belong to this country. My daughter, an American citizen, being told she does not belong to this country. No parent should have to hear their child say that they feel unsafe or unwanted in their own classroom, a school that should be their safe space. We immediately reached out to the school to address the issue, but the response has been inadequate. We filed a formal complaint with the Michigan Department of Civil Rights because we will not allow this to be ignored. The lack of accountability from Plymouth Canton Community Schools sends a dangerous message that discrimination in the classroom is acceptable, and it is not. We are demanding a full, transparent investigation into what happened with Danielle. We want to see meaningful consequences for the teacher's actions. This cannot be swept under the rug. We need policy changes, training for staff, and a firm commitment that students' rights will be upheld and protected. This isn't just about my daughter. This is about every child who has ever felt marginalized, disrespected, or unheard in their own school. Like I said, my daughter is a member of the National Honor Society, a 4.0 student, voted Student of the Month twice. She's an exceptional student and does not deserve to be treated this way by this teacher in this community in that school. We are here today because silence is not an option. We must stand together to ensure that no other student has to endure what Danielle went through. Thank you for standing with us, and we will not stop fighting until we see real change.
Now I want to hear from Danielle. Come on up, Danielle. Tell us about tell the media about the incident, how you felt, and when the teacher approached you.
I'm Danielle, and
Get closer to that.
sorry.
Okay.
I'm Danielle, and on January 10th, my teacher disrespected me, and my and my rights when I made the decision to sit down during the Pledge of Allegiance. She called me out in front of the entire class, saying that what I did was disrespectful. After class, I went up to her, and I tried explaining myself. I explained why I sat down, but she wouldn't listen. She just
Take a break. Let's drink some water. Thank you. Take your time.
I'm good. I just need to stop coughing.
You got this. You can girl. Imagine you're speaking to us. You're speaking to your dad right now.
Okay? She just I tried explaining myself to her, explaining why I chose to sit down, even though I have that right regardless. But she wouldn't listen to me. She told me that since I live in this country and enjoy its freedoms, if I don't like it, I should go back to my own country. And that it crushed me. It broke me. I felt so unwelcome. I felt uncomfortable, and all I wanted to do was protest in some way I could for a homeland with my family. And luckily, I had counselors and other staff members I could go to reach out for some sort of support, but even then, it it really was not sufficient. This teacher got away with just saying something so cruel to me, and she caused me a lot of discomfort. And I know this isn't a one-off thing. I want her to take some sort of accountability. I want the school to take accountability, because I know that this could happen to so many other students, so many other kids with these different backgrounds, with different races. She could easily treat them like she treated me, and I don't want that to happen. No one deserves to feel no one deserves to feel the way I had to feel. No one deserves to feel unwelcome in school. It's supposed to be a safe space. I think that if the school finally holds this teacher accountable and does something to get through to her that she cannot treat students like that, she cannot talk this way, talk down to these kids, then maybe school would feel safe again.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that if I could stand up and we can demand for this change, then maybe something will happen so that me and my peers can feel comfortable in our learning environment.
Great.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you. Open for questions.
Have any incidents like this happened in the past at this school with the same teacher?
Do you know of any?
I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah. I don't think we've gone that in depth to. There hasn't been. Yes, sir. I don't think we've gone that in depth yet as to. There's not a federal lawsuit pending or anything to have a discovery request or subpoena as to that. But I don't know if the family knows anything.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. I know this is the first Danielle has interacted with that, but there's been feedback from her peers. Oh, sorry. There's been feedback from her peers within the classroom that the teacher has made some unwelcome comments and has been treating them differently based on their race and disposition.
What was the reaction from the principal and staff when she came forward about this incident?
They all
Step
were.
a little closer.
They all had listened and agreed that it was very wrong what the teacher had said. But after they came up with the solution, which was just to remove me from the teacher's class instead of doing anything to the teacher as far as we're aware, it was just dropped, and no one ever came to me or said anything else about it.
Wasn't there a class, what's it called, where she was not a part of that? Will you
Yeah,
just
there was
explain that to them, please?
Yeah. So based on what Danielle was letting us know is that the administration had restorative practice in the classroom with the teacher and the other students, but the only person that wasn't in the classroom was Danielle herself. So there was no support that was given to her. There was no guidance for counseling for her emotional and mental health, being that she was the most affected by this.
Do you know what those restorative steps were? What did they do exactly?
According to family, it's just to talk about kind of, how to convey the message, just to see if everyone's fine and okay. But I think you probably know a little bit more about how that looks.
Sure. So basically, they said it was just a circle with the teacher and the other students, where they gave them an opportunity to express how the event impacted them, and they felt that it was important for the teacher to hear how the other students were impacted, as opposed to my daughter that was directly impacted and who she made the statement to. In addition, I will say that the principal told us that they did get documented statement from the teacher admitting to telling my daughter to go back to her country. And we haven't received a formal apology from the school or the teacher, which I find very unacceptable under the circumstances.
Yeah,
Deny saying that?
no, the teacher has not denied it. She actually admitted saying that. To go back to your own, this is what's very alarming under the set of circumstances. The ACRL, our executive director, myself, has sent a letter to the school district asking them to investigate thoroughly and all the requirements that we're asking them to do a few weeks ago, and they have not responded. And their only response was, "We got your complaint, we got your request, we got your letter," and that's it. They haven't taken any action whatsoever, especially when the teacher has literally admitted to saying, "Go back to your home country." It's absolutely outrageous that they would not even take any action at this particular time. Put her on suspension, do an investigation, take certain conduct against her when she's literally admitting to her conduct, which is fundamentally flawed, fundamentally wrong. As we stand here as Americans under the First Amendment, they need to take certain action. They need to take certain action now. They need to take immediate, and it has to be, there must be consequences to her actions. Otherwise, what message are you sending Plymouth Canton School District?
It gets back to what I asked earlier about restorative steps. How is a restorative step if a teacher said that? Go back to your country, how can it be a restorative step?
I don't think there could be a restorative step. Maybe that teacher needs to have some diversity training or sensitivity training under her belt, because if she'd done that to an Arab American, I'm sure she'll do that to an Asian American, African American, Indian American. All different backgrounds are very prevalent in the city, in the county of, in the city of Plymouth Canton School District.
You as a father, this must be very devastating for your family, obviously for your daughter, just going through all this and looking back at everything, how are you feeling?
No, absolutely. In all honesty, it broke me to my core. When I got the call and found out what happened, and I started to shake. I broke down in tears because as an adult, unfortunately, we've all dealt with racism in one form or another from our peers. But not in a million years did I ever expect my daughter to go through that and experience it in school. We try to prepare our kids, as a father, I try to prepare them for what's out there in the real world, that there is racism. There are going to be people that have that mindset where, if you're a different shade of color or a different nationality, to go back to your country when we are from this country. I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas as an American citizen, and my daughter was born and raised here in Michigan. So we're just as American as anybody else. So for her teacher to tell her that in school, just broke me to my core, because I would never want my daughter or anyone's child to experience that. And that's part of why we're here today, to ensure that that does not happen again. Like I said, she is a model student, and I brag about her only because we have to work harder to prove ourselves to people like that teacher. Like we had to be perfect to eliminate that scrutiny and to have these people still come out and say that in school. What is this teacher saying out in public, outside of school? If she's that comfortable saying that, in her place of employment, in a place where she's supposed to be educating my daughter, I'm sure outside of those doors, she's probably saying a whole lot worse.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it just broke me to my core, but we're here, I'm strong. She's strong, I'm super proud of her. She's very resilient to even be able to go to a teacher in a position of authority and express how you feel. And like I said, she had every right to sit during the pledge, but to have to explain herself and in a place of respect, to hopefully have the teacher understand why she did what she did, only to be combative and be told she's being disrespectful and go back to your country if you don't like it. Like that should have never happened and should never. And the teacher needs to be disciplined. And for her to still be employed there and still have other diverse students in that classroom and in that school, I would imagine they're impacted too. But it's not always easy to speak up. And that's part of why we're here.
Absolutely. Good job.
What outcome do you desire from the situation?
I mean, in all honesty, the teacher should be discharged. Like, there shouldn't be a teacher in a position of power like that that has that mindset. Because, racist isn't going to change overnight. Someone that has that mindset, that mentality to talk to a 14-year-old like that isn't going to change overnight. So they shouldn't be in that position in that school.
Danielle, did any of your classmates, what was the response of your classmates?
None of my classmates witnessed it directly, but anyone I told was definitely on my side. They almost my entire grade knows she is a racist teacher. She said this, it was wrong, and
Who didn't witness
my-
when you spoke to her, you said? Didn't
There were
witness?
some witnesses, not her
There-
direct classmate or friends, but there were some witnesses there.
Yes, absolutely.
and I don't believe that anything they I don't believe anything that they think had much effect, because as far as I'm aware, again, the witnesses were people I did not know,
But your classmates support
but like
you.
my classmates have supported me, and I do believe that there were a few students who wrote emails about this teacher just separately. So that's how it's been from other students.
All right, any further questions? Thank you all for coming, appreciate you.